So this is my safe place with Tati, where your thoughts and feelings are protected, and I'm your host, Tati Harden, and thank you for tapping into season 2, episode 13. To stay in tune with me and get regular updates, follow my social media pages at My Safe Place with Tati and at 2Bits Inc. And my website, www.mysafeplace.org, with the dashes in between. That is updated regularly with updates, and check out every tab as I am exploring, doing different things. Tonight's episode is titled Heal and Happiness, and the topic is Postpartum Depression. The song of the episode is Alicia Keys' Superwoman. And the quote of the episode, I have 2, and they're actually from celebrities who have experienced postpartum depression. The first one is from Cardi B, and it says, she said, "Out of nowhere, the world was heavy on my shoulders." Then the second one is from Gwyneth Paltrow. "I thought postpartum depression meant you were sobbing every single day and incapable of looking after a child. But there are different shades of it and depths of it, which is why I think it is so important for women to talk about it. It was a trying time. I felt like a failure." Which is, if anybody who have experienced postpartum knows, those words means a lot. I decided to talk about postpartum depression because this topic isn't talked about enough. We're not educated on it as much as we should be. And a lot of people experience, a lot of women experience it, some people don't. So if you was the fortunate people that never experienced postpartum, then great, you just have to deal with it. But the people that have experienced it, it is very, very difficult. And I wanted just to share important information that, well, I got pregnant at 22. So postpartum was not even a thought in my mind. I didn't even know what that was at that age. So I feel like to share my knowledge with everybody else and the research that I've been doing on it as well. And I'm opening the floor to anybody who wants to share a story. If you want to comment, you can comment. It's going to be a time towards the end of the episode if you want to tap in and join the live actually and share your story or encourage your words or anything that you feel about this episode. There'll be a section at the time, at the end of the episode at the time. But we're just going to jump right into it because it's a lot of information and I don't want to rush through it, but I want to do it in a reasonable amount of time. And first, I want to start with, there are 3 different categories of postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is something you experience after childbirth, especially, and I'm speaking to people who don't really know, and people, of course, knows you know. But before we even get to the 3 categories of postpartum depression after childbirth, there is something called peripartum depression, which is something you experience during your pregnancy. And this is something, of course, that it does go away, thankfully, but eventually it can turn into postpartum depression if you experience peripartum. And of course, every kind of depression should be taken serious, and especially peripartum, it should be taken serious. Who can be affected by peripartum? Mothers, surrogates, and often, mostly mom and surrogates, especially surrogates. I don't know why they say surrogates, but okay. They experience that because it's a biological, emotional, financial, and social changes during these times. What are some of the symptoms of peripartum? Are you feeling sad? You have depressed moods, lost interest of pleasure and activities you once enjoyed, change of appetite, trouble sleeping, too much sleeping. And everybody like, well, how is there too much sleeping in pregnancy? That's what you're supposed to do. There is. It's like, you know how you're just regularly depressed and you just sleep too much? It's the same thing, but people will just be like, okay, she's pregnant, so she's very tired, so it's okay to sleep as much. No, that can be a sign of depression as well, peripartum depression as well. Feeling worthless, guilty, loss of your energy, increased fatigue, difficulty thinking, concentrating, and making decisions, and crying for no reason. A lot of people, I have a friend who experienced peripartum depression, but at the time, I didn't really know it was that. Because I'm like, it's your hormones and everything. People always feel like it's can you pregnant, your hormones change, you get all emotional, but it's really reasons behind it. And if we don't educate ourselves on it, we will never know. But that was just a fun fact of peripartum. So the first category of postpartum depression is baby blues. Postpartum baby blues, baby blues is the next thing after, whatever. It usually begins within the first 2 or 3 days after delivery. It may last up for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and after that, you'll be okay. 50 to 75% of women are affected by baby blues, which causes baby blues. After delivery, the amount of hormones, estrogen, proestrogen, suddenly decreases and causes mood swings. That's why it's just called baby blues. Doesn't matter what number child you're on. If it could be your first, second, 18th, it doesn't even matter. You are getting overwhelmed, and sometimes you are going to feel like nothing is enough at that point. So that's when you could be like, okay, that's baby blues. Especially after 2 weeks, if it goes away, then you know exactly that's what it is. But what are some common symptoms of baby blues? Having crying spells, feeling overwhelmed, you lose your appetite, you have trouble sleeping, you have sudden mood change. And another good thing about baby blues, it goes away on its own. Like, you don't need medical treatment like how you would need for the intense depressions. Some ways to cope with baby blues, and it's just because you just don't feel, if you don't know that you're experiencing it, you think you just handle it, and everything is too much. Listen, it is too much, especially if you have 1, 2, it doesn't matter. It is too much. You need your mental health. Asking for help and being very specific in the help that you need. So if one of your family members come over and then you be like, let me watch the baby for a little bit. Like, no, I got it. And sometimes we don't want to leave our babies, especially if it's your firstborn. You be like, oh no, I'm not leaving my child with them. I want to be a part of it. You can't take care of my child the way I know I can. But it's okay. Like, okay, I need you to watch him or her for at least 2 hours while I just go get some sleep. Or can you help me just clean up my space a little bit? Because if your house is disorganized, you're just going to feel so overwhelmed. And especially if you have bottles in the sink, and you have laundry you need to do, it gets overwhelming. So if somebody's coming over and they ask you to help you, let them help you. And don't be ashamed to even ask for help at that time. Take some time to yourself. So when the baby's sleeping, I know us moms we want to cook, we want to clean, we want to do the laundry, we want to make sure everything's set for the next 2 hours when this baby wake up. It is okay to go to sleep when the baby is sleeping. That's the best time to sleep, because that baby's sleeping and he's not going to wake up. So that will be the best time to get some sleep as well. Just stay rested. Take that time to yourself. Even if within that baby is sleeping, you want to go take a shower, because when you become a mother, taking a shower is going to be like the hardest task you can ever do. And it's not like, oh, I'm not going to be able to take a shower. I can't take a shower peacefully. Somebody's going to be knocking on the door. Or like when you have a baby for the first time, you're in the shower, you'll start to hear like crying noises. So you automatically like, okay, hurry up because the baby's crying. And when you get out, sound asleep. So I don't know what that's called, but you will experience that. Talking to someone, anyone, if you have a friend, family member that you feel comfortable speaking to, just talk to somebody. If you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, journaling, talking to yourself would be the best thing as well. Journaling and get it out. Find a support group, on Facebook, because the people you don't know, you're never going to see them. And it's good to, even if you don't participate in what they're doing, just to see like the active feedback that they're giving. Like they are experiencing baby blues too. So it's like, you're not alone. Just know you're not alone. And Facebook groups, I just said, is always a good option too, because now you're in the comfort of your own home, and we're always on our phone anyway. So what's the difference of just looking up stuff, right? Then we go to category 2 of postpartum depression. And this is where a lot of us is not educated, it's not aware, and it gets deep. And it's not taken serious, and it's belittled. So I feel like this point and on is very very important. So postpartum depression is a form of depression that can happen anytime after childbirth. It often starts within 4 weeks after childbirth. Postpartum is a complex mixture of physical, emotional, and behavioral changes, which is something to be taken serious. It occurs more common, I said 4 to 6 weeks, and it could last up to a year. And it's not like regular depression where it could carry on and on and on and on. Sometimes it can last a little bit longer, but I guess statistics says it can last up to a year. A lot of people, even as celebrity, Cardi B, I believe is one of them as well, said that she had postpartum up to a year. And do you know how long a year is? Imagine people that have regular depression, but postpartum depression with a baby for a year, that is, oh my God, I'm not gonna even start. Postpartum depression not only affects biological mother, it can affect surrogates, adoptive parents, and even fathers. And I will touch more on fathers, how fathers could get postpartum depression as well, because people don't think, how can men get postpartum depression and not carrying a baby? I will get into that further on. Why people experience postpartum depression, and because the hormonal, the physical, emotional, financial, social changes after having these babies. There's a lot of factors that contribute to postpartum depression. And there are mild symptoms of postpartum, and then there's severe symptoms. So the mild symptoms, and if anybody on here have experienced any of the symptoms, you can just comment, you can tap in, feel free. But some of the mild symptoms is feeling sad, worthless, hopeless, or guilty, worrying excessively and feeling on edge, loss of interest in hobbies or things you once enjoyed, changes in your appetite, not eating, the loss of energy, motivation, trouble sleeping or wanting to sleep all the time, crying for no reason or like excessively crying, difficulty thinking or focusing, thoughts of suicide or wishing you were dead, lack of interest in your baby or feeling anxious around your baby. So when I first had my daughter, I was experiencing postpartum. I didn't know that I was experiencing postpartum. I was just feeling very sad. And I don't know why. Like, I had no reason. Like, I was very happy that I had my daughter, but I was not, like, I couldn't control the feeling of feeling sad. Like, why am I so sad all the daggone time? Folks, like, I was feeling on edge. Like, I was just like, oh my God. Like, and at that time, I was living in my parents' house around, but like, when everybody left, it's like, it's just me and her. Like, okay, am I going to get it right? Am I going to do something wrong? Like, I was just worrying excessively to a point where, like, okay, when she sleep, I'm going to watch her sleep, because God forbid if she stops breathing or something. Like, so we just had that paranoia, like, okay, what if. But then after, I think mine's lasted for at least two months. I could say 2 months for sure. It lasted as well as that. It didn't last up to a year like certain people experiences. I didn't have no suicidal thoughts when I was having postpartum. I didn't experience that, thank the Lord. But I was just very anxious all the time as well. I was very anxious. And she brought me so much happiness, but I was just so sad. Like, I was just crying when, like, one day, like, the sun, I had this, like, I call it a Barbie window at my mom's house, and the sun was just shining in on me, and I just started crying. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, I didn't even know what was wrong with me at the time. But then after, probably like years later, I realized, oh wow, like, I experienced postpartum depression, and I never even noticed it. Luckily for me, it went away on its own. So everybody else is different. Some people seek medical attention, and me, I was, I guess, a lucky one, I guess, to have it go away on its own. But there are some, So before we even get to the severe ones, there's some ways to cope with the mild symptoms of postpartum. And it's finding someone to talk to. It could be a therapist, a friend, a family member, someone that will just listen and help you. You don't want somebody to just listen and be like, and feed into what you're thinking. You need somebody that's going to uplift you and just make you feel a little bit better about what you're experiencing, because some people don't know what they're experiencing, and depression is very difficult anyway. But just somebody that can encourage you a lot. A therapist is always good because they can give you other resources that can help you with depression, give you techniques and everything. A friend who experienced it, I would recommend talking to somebody who never had a child at a younger age. Like okay, if you're 18 and you're experiencing it and you're talking to a friend about it and they give you advice, they never experienced something like that. So if you can talk to somebody who had a child who was pregnant, or somebody who's wiser than their years, because somebody who never really experienced that can't really help you and guide you what to do. Somebody like in a medical field, of course, yes. But if they don't have children, yeah, okay, they know what they're talking about. But if you're 18 and another 18-year-old who's never experienced it, don't have a plan to do that, I wouldn't suggest talking to them, because they're gonna make you feel worse, and that's not what you're trying to do. Join a support group. Always support groups. If you do want to join a support group, I can help you find one, especially on Facebook. I'm gonna say this for this, this is for more of the other cultures. Try eating healthy and find time to exercise. When you have a child, you can't even find time to sleep or to eat. To exercise? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll do that. But if that works for you, it will work for you. It's not gonna work for me, especially I had a C-section. So what if you had a complicated birth and then now you want to work after that? You're pushing it. But that is another resource that you can use if you like to. Prioritize rest for yourself. That's one thing. As a mom, especially a new-time mom, we lose ourselves quickly. So definitely try to set at least 20, 30 minutes, even an hour. And if you have to spend it 30 minutes, like how you on shift, take some time to yourself, because you need to be energized. You are no good to your baby if you're not good. To get a distraction, right? So we have social media as a distraction. TikTok, thank goodness we have TikTok. You can get a good laugh off of that. Something to uplift you. Watch comedy shows. Do something, watch movie, TV. Something that's uplifting a little bit. If you want to read your Bible, just keep yourself engaged with certain things. Walking, talking to the baby out, cry, what exactly. Find time for yourself, self-care. Doing things that you enjoy. Reading. I feel like reading at the time, if you're experiencing postpartum and your mind is all over the place, and this is just me, like my mind is all over the place, I'm not going to have time to sit down and read a book, because now I'm going to drift off and wonder, and it's going to enhance my depression. So for me, that wouldn't work. With that, for you, reading a book will work good. Cleaning. Some people like to clean, and that helps with their OCD, to distract and get their mind off of things. So when you are cleaning, bump some music. That's what I do, especially if I'm doing it in intense cleaning, bump some music, and that should help. Yep. So now we're going to move forward to the severe symptoms of postpartum. So thoughts of hurting your baby, or feeling like you don't want your baby, thoughts of harming yourself or the baby, reoccurring thoughts of death or suicide, depressed moods for most of the day, nearly every day for the last 2 weeks, feeling anxious, guilty, hopeless, scared, panicked, and worthless, difficulty thinking, concentrating, making decisions, and dealing with everybody else's problems. I don't know why we feel like when we are going through something, we could take on everybody else's problems, which just adds on to the load, will make it worse. Loss of interest in your activities, of course, for the last 2 weeks. They always say loss of interest, but then it's like, I feel like that can be an up and down situation, because loss of interest is not, I'm not losing my interest, I just don't have time for it at the time, because I'm just doing so much. So that can vary between you. That's when you really have to decipher if it's postpartum or I'm just too busy to even think about it. Sometimes we also experience, like when they said, so the difference between the severe and the mild. So the mild one, it said thoughts of suicide. So it's like that's the mild one. But the severe one is reoccurring thoughts. So now you're you are thinking about it so much that now you're about to execute it. That's when you should seek help immediately. Tell somebody, like, I'm thinking about it. And that is something serious, because it can really get to the point where you really do it and not even, it's not a thought. It's just like, I'm just going to do it. And sometimes we feel like if we talk to somebody or get somebody, it's going to make it worse. Like, they might take my baby from me, or we're just ashamed, or we're just embarrassed. So I just look at it as this: if you don't get help, something bad is going to happen. So if you seek the help, get it. And don't, this is the point of the episode, is to don't feel ashamed, don't feel embarrassed. If you need to get the help, get the help. It don't make you less of a mother. It don't make you less of anything. At that point, you are the strongest woman alive, because you're seeking help. Asking for help don't make you no less of a woman. It don't take away from anything that you're doing. Get help if you need the help. Then we're going to move on to level 3 of postpartum. And this one is very, 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 very severe. So, of course, the higher it gets, the more dangerous it is. But postpartum psychosis. This is the most severe kind of postpartum, and this requires emergency attention. And it affects 1 in 100 people, but however, the numbers is growing. And there was a lady, Lindsay Clancy, I believe her name is, and she's from Massachusetts, and she experienced postpartum psychosis, and she had 3 children, and she killed them. I wrote some notes down so I won't tell you the wrong information. She strangled her 5-year-old and her 5-year-old daughter, her 3-year-old son, and at the time her baby was 8 months, who gave her the postpartum psychosis, and he was severely injured. I can't remember if it was a girl or a boy, but it was a baby that was 8 months that was severely injured, and then she tried to kill herself. 3 days later, of course, the baby died, and then she was sentenced to life. She was sentenced to life in jail for killing all 3 of her children. Then in 2006, her conviction was overturned because she was deemed not guilty by insanity. So postpartum psychosis is a real thing, and it's very dangerous. And you're not in control of your actions at that point. You are really in too deep to where now I'm going to act on the urges that I have. And suicide, it grows. Like, you have the thoughts, you have the reoccurring thoughts, you might try to do it, and then it's really like, okay, I'm at my wrist's end, I'm doing it all. And then some people like, it's not really that serious. If you feel like you want to hurt yourself or your kids, leave. It is really not, it's not that easy, because you feel like, okay, I can do it, I'm gonna keep on doing it, I'm gonna push forward, it will come through. But then you experience this kind of stuff, and then you just snap. So, and I even get overwhelmed. Like, if my son is crying and my daughter's talking to me and I know I have different things to do, I just get overwhelmed. I don't think about hurting my kids, but it's just a lot, because we're moms, but I'm human too. Like, I do get overstimulated, and I'm not defending her in no way and showing that, like, but I feel like I empathize with her, because that is serious business. You have 3 kids, and then she had a husband, but her husband, of course, work a lot. So she's with these kids all day. So just imagine yourself in a house with kids all day. Like, my daughter is out of school right now in camp. So it's just me, her, and my son in the house all day. My daughter don't take naps. So it's like, holy moly, donut shop. Go take a nap. You're not tired? You just want to be up all day just talking? Mommy needs a break. So my daughter's at the age where she can go, she entertain herself a little bit, and she'll come back. My son, he'll sleep, but it's a lot. So she have reached her wits end, and now she's in a mental hospital. So now she's basically crazy now, but this is the effects of pregnancy. And totally off topic, but like the trans men are like, oh, like, they want to have babies, they want to do this. Women is not gatekeepers of periods and pregnancy, whatever. You can have it. You can have it all. You can have the baby. You can go through God forbid, you can pass away from having a baby. You can have these mental damages to you feel free to do that if you want to take it on, because it is real. And until people experience things, they won't know how serious it could be. They always want to take things lightly. Oh, it's so good. It's apples and oranges and roses raising a kid. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's like the weather. Like, we have sunny days, we have lightning, we have storm, we have snow. It is weather. Raising a child is like the weather. So go ahead. If you want, I'm going to take it. Nobody is stopping you. You can take it. You can actually take my uterus if you want it, because I'm about tired of it. So back on track. So it's very, very, very serious. So postpartum psychosis occurs quickly after you have a baby, and it lasts for weeks, months, and it can go past for years. So the symptoms of postpartum psychosis is severe agitation, confusion, feeling of hopelessness, shame, insomnia, paranoia, delusions, hallucinations, hyperactivity, and rapid speech. So you understand person, like, it's a difference between somebody talking fast and somebody who is, be like, oh, she's on that, but that's the real things. And postpartum psychosis does not go away on its own. You need to seek immediate medical attention, since the risk of suicide and risk of harming your baby is involved. Certain treatments can be like hospitalization, psychotherapy, medication. Everybody wants to fix things with medication. So if you read like some of the labels on depression medicine, it makes you more depressed. So I don't know who created that to cure depression with depression, but it works for some people, it works for not. But definitely, if you are going to seek medication, read the side effects of it. Of course, every pill treats everybody different, but if the common denominator, it make you more depressed or give you suicidal thoughts, that's not something that you should be taking, because it can increase your risk and actually make you do it. And your life is more important than anything else. So definitely seek attention, medical attention. Therapy as well, because therapists can prescribe medication for you, and then stay active with your therapy. Make sure, please, like, if you feel like, okay, I'm going to hurt my baby, like today's like, I feel like I'm gonna hurt her, or like you put your baby down too hard and you don't know your own strength, and that's a sign. Seek help immediately, because it can go left very, very, very fast. I said earlier that men can experience postpartum depression, and I want to shift back to that. So 1 in 10 men experience postpartum depression. Why? Because their testosterone levels changes, and men don't even know that they can experience postpartum too. I didn't even know that men can experience it. So of course, if you do your research, the more you know. And what are some symptoms that men experiences postpartum depression? So anger, irritability, risk-taking behaviors including substance and alcohol abuse, detachment from the family, easily stressed. Like some physical symptoms, I believe, is like stomach aches and headaches. Changes in your sleep patterns. Either you sleep too much or you sleep too little. That saying, like, oh, if a man sleeps too much, he got somebody pregnant, and that person actually be pregnant, and then he's just sleeping in the night. Be like, why are you sleeping so much? Like, you don't even have to deal with everything. That could be the postpartum depression too, especially after the baby. Low energy, an increase or decrease in appetite or weight. And I'm not going to it's not going to be a men bashing session, but of course, it can decipher. This is like a 50-50% thing when I'm talking about here. At that point, when you have a baby, the whole dynamic of your household changes, especially if it's your first one and you guys both don't know what to do. You're both learning. And the whole dynamic of your house changes, and it's easy for dad to leave because that's typically what men do. So that baby is always a female responsibility. But they can be experiencing postpartum, and now they're like, okay, they blame it on a woman. Like, okay, she's not doing this anymore. She's focused on the baby a little bit more. I'm not getting enough attention. It's just too much. I'm overwhelmed, and I just need to go. Like, so they just dip out, and the family now is broken. Like the family dynamic is broken. The household thing that everybody want is broken. And because some men leave, but they don't know if they experience postpartum as well. So I feel like if men can educate themselves on postpartum as well as females, it'll be a lot understanding. Because if I knew that men can experience postpartum, and back then I would have told my child's father, like, maybe you are experiencing the same thing I am experiencing, but your defense mechanism is to just do something different, and mine is to cry because I have to, deal with the baby. But it can definitely draw a wedge between the family if we're not educated on what's going on. And yeah, men, you can experience it too. And how you can get the help for that, talk to somebody. Men don't really like to talk to therapists and whatnot, so talk to your homeboys, but then make sure you talk to somebody who's level-headed. Don't be like, okay, yeah, she's wilding because she's having that baby. Be like, no, just take time. Y'all are new parents. It doesn't matter what number you're on. Y'all are new parents. Take time, talk to each other, communication at that time. Because if she's feeling sad and you're feeling angry, it's not going to work, because you will get mad that she's sad. And then she's going to get more sad that you're angry at her, you're yelling at her. So it's really, like, communication has to be very much so present, and especially after having a baby. If anybody here that's on live have experienced or have seen somebody who experienced postpartum, you can feel free to tap in, write your comments below if you want to, because we're coming to the closing of tonight's episode. But as I stated, for season 2, I changed up a lot of things, and I do Ask Tati questions, which is on my website. And basically, for the people who don't know what Ask Tati is because I'm using my life skills, my life coach skills, putting it to use. So people reach out, ask me questions, give me advice, and a lot of people have been doing it. I haven't done it last week because I was really sick, but tonight, I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm going to record some of the questions and answers. And with the Ask Tati thing, I just started incorporating it with my podcast. So if you have a question regarding the podcast topic, you can then ask Mom. So I do have a question regarding tonight's episode. And the question is, what effects does postpartum depression has on a woman and their baby? Which is very, very informative to know. Like, you should really know. So basically, other than the mental health impacts that it has, it can affect women who are breastfeeding. It can decrease your milk supply. In fact, also women can experience up to 3 years after birth, which exactly 3 years of postpartum depression is crazy. But it can affect your breast milk supply. It can decrease or dry completely. And then it's so funny because when I was like really thinking about the question and doing my research on the response, I realized when I was pregnant with Araya, like, I'm like, okay, I can't wait to breastfeed. And then after I started pumping, and I didn't know nothing about a flange, so I didn't know if my breast flange was right, whatnot. But then when I was experiencing postpartum, which I didn't know, my whole milk supply just went away. So like I was stopping anyway because it was hurting too much, but it just literally went away. And I'm like, okay, like, because usually I'd be like, oh, you have to go to the doctor, you have to get this pill, dry your milks up, or stuff like that. But it literally went away. Like, my milk dried up, and that's because I was experiencing postpartum and I didn't know, and it dried up. So when I was doing research on how it affects the baby, these are some common symptoms of like postpartum depression on the baby. You have trouble bonding with your baby and don't establish a connection with them. Your child may have behavior or learning problems. You may skip appointments with your child's pediatrician. Your child may have feeding and sleeping issues. And a lot of babies experience that. Some people feel like, okay, my baby's not eating too much, maybe he's not hungry or whatever, but it can just be the effects of postpartum with you as well. Your baby feed off your energy, and how you're feeling as well. Your child may be at risk for obesity and developmental disorders. I think that's the severe cases, but as my research showed it said it, but I feel like that's more severe. Like, how would you know, like, baby's gonna develop obesity if I'm experiencing postpartum for, this amount of time? But you never know. And it happens to some people. That's why they did it. You may neglect your child's care or not recognize when they are ill. And your baby may have impaired social skills. I feel like that was very informative, like impaired social skills. But because you're staying in the house and you're not, especially over a year, you're staying in the house and your baby's not getting that interaction with certain people, it can definitely impair their social skills. I feel like that was a valid point. So tonight's episode, I hope it was very informative for you guys. Just doing the research on it was very informative for me, and I definitely wanted to share and just shine the light on it a little bit, because if people feel like, oh, she's pregnant, it's hormones, she'll get over it, but it's very, very much so. I feel like it should be taken seriously, and just because how long we are experiencing this, and we have to be ready to suffer from regular depression, but postpartum depression on top of taking care of a baby. And imagine if you get twins or triplet. Oh, God forbid. But if you have a lot of children, it is a lot. It is a lot. And you can definitely snap really fast. So seek attention. Don't be embarrassed. You're not the only one who have experienced postpartum, and you're not going to be the last. And just educate yourself on it. Do more research on it, and have a good support system. Have a very good support system, because some people become single mothers while they're pregnant. So you don't have that, father stuff, and that can stress you out. Whatever, I get it. Still, get some help. Resources for help, anything you can post on your website. Yes, I will be posting some on my website, and I'll be posting some on my Instagram, and I will post some in the comments in the caption as well, so we can definitely support one another. Facebook groups, there's support groups. If you put in searching support groups for postpartum depression, there's a lot of them that pops up. Don't be ashamed to talk to somebody, have anybody in your corner. It is good to talk it out. Journal. If you want me to create a journal for you, that's a discounted price, of course. So you can write, talk it out, write it down, get it off your chest, do something, but don't keep it bottled up, because it definitely will affect you in the long run, So definitely seek help. I put my episodes on Spotify, so I'm going to attach the link in the captions as well. I'm trying to get 100 listens before in, I think, 60 or 90 days, one of the two. But I'm trying to grow that platform as well. And season 2 will be up there. I'm learning how to edit videos and stuff. So I never had a blueprint for podcasting, so I'm taking it one day at a time. And I feel like I'm doing pretty good. But it will be up there as well. Save the date for October 4th. I will be having a Raising Millennial webinar. And it's not a parenting class. It's just basically how we can help one another raise these young kids, because times have changed, and we need to grow with the times and make sure our children is on the right path. And it takes a village, so we will be doing that. So save the date for that. And for a little bit more about season 2, I will bring in other resources in. And so this month I will have 2 therapists joining my episodes, and they're Black, they're women, of course, but I feel like therapy is underrated. A lot of people they're like, oh, so underrated or whatever. But no, it is a necessity, especially in the Black community. We don't highlight it enough. And I'll be having my next episode is 8/13. No, what month are we in? We're in August. September 13th. And that'll be Felicia Harris. She is a licensed therapist, and she'll be on with me. And we'll be talking more. I'm not going to tell you guys about the topic and everything right now, but you'll see the flyer, and she's going to be coming on. And I just want to definitely start using my platform to give different resources, especially within the Black community, that We have my website is another resource if you need to reach out. For the young girls who need some guidance, Latasha Braids & Co. is another good resource for everybody to have. And I thank you guys for tapping in, for commenting, for watching, for sharing. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was very informative. And share it to somebody else, tag somebody else so they can watch it, so they can get the resources as well. And thank you guys. Have a good night.